Before history was written, wisdom was remembered.
When the matriarch speaks, time listens.
Alafia from 113 of Arisha Stone. Peace and blessings to the tribe. Peace and blessings to the clans. And peace and blessings to the clan mothers. How y'all doing tonight?
Doing great.
I shall say.
Very
Tonight,
well.
we have two amazing guests. We always talk about the clan mothers and matriarch and everything else. And I always talk about the ones known and unknown. Well, tonight, if you don't have the pleasure of already knowing Goddess Momma Callie, I wanted to bring Momma Callie on. This is, I think your second or third time on the show, Goddess. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing very well. I'm very well. We got thunderstorms out here.
And where you located at?
I'm just outside of Atlanta. I have been here for the last 29 years. I moved here from San Francisco, where my husband and I had a plant nursery business and landscape business. He was a horticulturist and an ethnobotanist. And we moved here to get land. And although he has passed, I'm still on the land. Okay?
I see. I know you've been doing a lot of work for the tribe behind the scenes, and tonight I want to get into that a little bit about the things that you do for the tribe and everything else. We're trying to bring a lot more of the matriarch out so they can really, guide and organize across the land, across the whole land of the plume serpent. We also have Goddess April Miss Gary. And how you doing tonight, Goddess?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Yes, ma'am. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
Well, originally from Texas, but I'm now in actually Augusta, Georgia. I just moved here. I would say the spirit sent me here. Before then, I was in Chicago, Illinois. I've traveled quite a bit, and I'm just happy to be here on the show.
I shall say. Tell us a little bit about your show as well. I know we've seen you before somewhere. Where have we seen you?
Probably a few different places. I'm a filmmaker. My background is in technology. I'm a systems analyst for airplanes. That's the technical thing that I do, but I also have a spiritually gifted community. And on that call, our Zoom call that we have every Sunday, we talk about those with spiritual gifts like myself. I'm also an oracle. I'm a prophetess. And I'm a historical researcher and an artist, filmmaker. I do quite a few things. And I'm also an Ifa priestess. I'm also initiated in Vodun. I have my Gohans in Buddhism, and I do Neolithic and pre-Paleolithic history. So I come from the beginning of time until today, and I've been doing that for a little bit over 35 years now. So again, I'm happy to be on the show tonight.
This is also another OJ Yemi production. OJ Yemi introduced me to this goddess, and I know I might have had the first time I spoke to you, I had a whole lot on my shoulders and everything else, and then when I spoke to you, it just felt lighter. Like I really felt your energy, and also you brought up a great topic because Momma Callie wanted to speak on healing tonight. She wanted to speak on some healing herbs that I think a lot of us need to talk about, but. Tonight, we focused on matriarch healing. You know what I'm saying? We talk about matriarch economics a lot. We speak about matriarch this, matriarch that. Everybody use that word matriarch. So Momma Callie, with no further ado, can you take us more into what you were talking about earlier about matriarch healing?
Well, before I get started, I'd like to actually acknowledge some very important people in my life, okay? Now, I haven't given very much of a background on myself. I was born in North Carolina during the days of segregation, and I went to all segregated schools all through high school. And I'm the 13th child and the 7th daughter of my My father was a newspaper publisher, and so was my brother. And of course, all of my siblings as well. All of them are gone now. I'm the last one, but the last three actually lived until they were 93, so I got some time to go. Now, as far as I don't want to concentrate on where I've been and done. I mean, like I said, I did with my husband, who was an ethnobotanist. We traveled throughout the United States, the Caribbean islands, and throughout Africa. I think I visited 15 African nations doing botanical work and research. And that is the one plant that we wrote about in 1988 in the book, The Science and Romance of Selected Herbs Used in Medicine and Religious Ceremony. That book was published in 1988. And just last week, President Trump signed a bill authorizing this African plant as the most important healing. He did a healing plant for our nation. And I thought, wow, okay, here's another thing that they're after, have taken when we told the people about it so many years. It's 2 generations. And some of the people, I talked to my dear friend, a medical doctor who knew us in San Francisco. She was at San Francisco General in emergency during that, it was the crack epidemic time. And she was there. I told her about this today and said, hey, you know what? We got to change the trajectory of this. I will go forward and to talk a little bit more about that particular plant. The first thing that I want to do is to acknowledge my ancestors and people in the matriarchy right now. The first one I want to acknowledge is Empress Verdiasi. Empress Verdiasi Gaston Turner L. Bay. I became a member of the Washita back when she was still alive. And that story, I don't know if everyone knows the story of what happened to her, but I'm not sure that it's functioning. Her website or even the tribe is functioning anymore. I don't know. Another person I want to acknowledge is Empress Rarebird, because she has set some things in place that we should all acknowledge and thank her for. Then I have a few matriarchs that are unknown. Actually, elders who are unknown. One of them, my dear friend here in Atlanta, outside of Atlanta, like I am. My dear friend, she's from California as well, Miss Ella Woods. She's a metaphysician who people don't know, but I've known her. She used to come to our lectures back in the day in California. And then I met her here through one of the Nasara networks. And then I want to also acknowledge Chief Betty of the Kitawa Nation. She's her chiefess name is Chief Betty Flying Mink. And then I also want to acknowledge the matriarch who's holding down the Moorish land in Kansas and has been there for the last 60 years. And she is 95 years old. Brilliant woman, but she has that history. Her name is Helen Torrance Bay. So I had to acknowledge them, the matriarchs, the ones that I'm very close to and talk to. And I learned so much from them. So I wanted to acknowledge them. And then, of course, I want to also acknowledge my Moorish teachers. You know, the first one I want to acknowledge is Elihu Pleasant Bay. Now, I learned a lot from him, and I did a lot with them. And I've been trying to contact him now recently, and the phone is off, so I don't know what happened. He was older. He was much older than I am. And so he was my first Moorish teacher. And then I want to acknowledge C. Freeman L., who, you know, I learned a lot from him, especially the metaphysics of the Moorish science. And he ended up leaving some very important books with me, you know, handwritten, some of it, and information about the metaphysics. So at some point, I really want to share that with people. C. Freeman L., I don't know if you know him, but he had that Moorish science of the mind, spirit, and body together. And then, of course, I want to acknowledge Taj Tariq Bey. You know, he was my internet teacher on civics. And I really had to have that part, the civics part. And as a result, you know, I'm very, very pleased that I had the opportunity to actually get the teachings from all these people. And so I'm here still as a student, still with an open mind, still ready to learn and to share. There's so much that we need to share.
Gotcha. A lot of times they come on and they say, "What's the point of the conversation? What's the?" Well, the point of the conversation for tonight is one to introduce the clan mothers. Everybody talking about the matriarch, but now it's time to put the face to it, and so we know all these different clan mothers. I'm thank you for shouting out all those goddesses that we don't know about, especially the guys in Kansas that you've been telling me about for a while. I've had the pleasure of knowing Mama Kali for a little over a year now. And you've always put out great information, so thank you for that. Also, tell us, don't you have a book out as well?
Yeah, I have several books. Well, the last two that were published, one is Global Transformations, The Rise of Feminine Power, and The Ascension of the Ethiopian King. Now, I think I sent you a picture of it. That one talks about what's happening today. All right. And then I have another book entitled American Indians Searching for Home, and that's the Diaspora Road in Ghana. I lived in Ghana for 3 years. And for years and years, as I said before, I traveled through so many African nations. And what I experienced in Ethiopia when we were called by a prophet there along the Great Rift Valley, way down below Addis Ababa. his message, and he asked us to come in person to receive the message, which we did. And he told us to come back to America and let the women of the diaspora know that they are the ones who will change the world. And so, I mean, that's the message that I'm attempting to put across right now. But we've got to heal these sisters. We got to heal ourselves. You know, we're all suffering from post traumatic syndrome. I'm not saying post traumatic slave syndrome because not all of us were slaves. But I do have to say that my mother, and it's proven, she actually went to an Indian school in 1909. It was the first Indian school that was built by the state of North Carolina. Most of them had been built by missionaries and other people like what was that guy's name? J.P. Morgan. He's the one who brought over those Siberians and made them Indians, sent them to Indian schools and made them Indians. He's the one who actually did that, J.P. Morgan. You aware of that? And so those Indians on the reservation didn't come over here 12,000 years ago. They've been here for 200, okay? So my mother did attend the Croatoan Indian School, which was in eastern North Carolina. That's where my bloodline comes from, southeastern North Carolina. Okay. Even though I was born in a big city, so it was called at that time, but it was also the first Wall Street. It's Durham, North Carolina. And it is acknowledged at the first Wall Street because we had everything there. And that didn't change. I mean, we had our banks, we had our savings and loan, we had our insurance company, we had our hotel, we had our printing press, we had, and my father was a publisher, and not with that particular printing press, but he had his own. We had our theaters. We had everything we needed. We had our grocery stores. But then, of course, as I was leaving and I graduated from high school in 1963, and I went to Jersey, stayed in Jersey for a while, went to New York, stayed there for a while, and then went to San Francisco. So the majority of my adult life was spent in San Francisco and Monterey, California. And so that's why you see the goddess Califia on both of the covers of my books. Those books are available on Amazon, actually. And so you can access them. So, yeah, we were the first Black Wall Street, which has been destroyed now. Okay. And just about, I see that the bank is still there and they changed their name. I don't think that the insurance company is there anymore because I was looking for them about a year ago and couldn't find them. But of course, you know us. The Caucasian stuff is better than what we got. And the minute they opened that door and let us through, hey, our folks ran to them. And that's why we're in the condition that we're in now. Now, as far as matriarchy is concerned, what I'm seeing is a lot of very good people, women who are doing magnificent things, but we don't have any unity. And acting alone, we can't accomplish anything. And so I did a session with Dr. Naila. What's the name of the program? And that's the one that I met Taj Tariq on. Let's see. I'll think of it in a minute. Dr. Naila, we did a presentation here in Atlanta in 2023, 11/11/2023. And that was all about getting the matriarchs together. And what actually came from that, we started a collective of women farmers, which I'm also a farmer, of course. I've been involved in plants all my life. Everybody had their own garden when I grew up. Everybody had a garden. And so we ate from our fruit trees and our garden in the summertime. And the ladies would sit around in a circle and can. I remember sitting there and helping as much as I could as a small child, and listening to the women talk about things. This was a wonderful way of learning what we were all about. And I had okay, let me stop that. But acknowledging the matriarchy and attempting to bring us together, because it is so difficult for us to agree on anything. We have to have an umbrella. We have to have an umbrella for us to all share equally and put a structure in place. Now, at that 2023 meeting here in Atlanta with Dr. Naila, I gave them a diagram to go by, which I still have in my possession. And what we did was to look at how our ancestors had actually organized themselves. And of course, what we go by is mostly the Iroquois Confederation. What we don't know is that the Iroquois women were in charge of everything, but they were at home. They took care of the home. They took care of the food, the clothing, the shelter. They did all of that. The men went and hunted and fished and trapped. And they brought the meat and fish home. The women actually did everything else. But not only that, the women also picked the chiefs. They picked the chiefs. So they were in charge of deciding what chief had the right to speak. And they told the chief what they needed based on the family's needs, not an ego, not an individual thing for the chief. No, not at all. A lot of that stuff I'm seeing, online now, with men, beating their chest and trying to be this and that and the other, but who appointed them? Did they appoint themselves? Or was there a matriarch or matriarchal group that decided that he was best.
Sure.
Do you understand what I'm saying? And the power of those women, according to the structure of the Iroquois Confederation, was that, okay, they would tell the chiefs what was needed in the clan, in the family, in the tribe. And they would appoint the chief to go to speak for the clan, the family, the tribe. Okay? If the chief did not carry out the plans or the projects that were recommended by the women, the elder women, then he got thrown out. And they didn't have to do a whole lot of voting to do it. If he didn't do it, he got his deer horns taken away. How they, yeah, how they actually did that was if he was appointed and approved by the women in his clan or tribe, then he was given a deer horn. And so they would take the deer horn away from him if he wasn't doing what the woman said. I mean, but if we look at Big Mama, in our communities, we don't have those anymore, but we did when I grew up. You know, I mean, they were on the front porch all seasons watching who was in the neighborhood, where the children went and who was with who and all of that. And if you dared to make a mistake, then your mama would know that before you even turn the corner to get home. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
And so we had a community watch. You had a question?
I do want to get to some of the questions, and I also want to include Goddess too, because this is going to be amazing. But we got time. I'm more than patient. I don't want to cut your wisdom. Somebody had an amazing question. They say, Grand Even, guest in chat, just tuned in. Am I correct that Miss Callie lives in Atlanta? If so, did she get a calling to go there? I'm sorry for interrupting you. Go ahead, Goddess.
Get a message from Inyana or Naya?
A message to go to Atlanta? To move to Atlanta?
No, we just needed some land, and we couldn't afford the land in San Francisco. There was no land in San Francisco by the time that we left, which was in 1998. There had been an invasion of Chinese in the 80s, late 80s and 90s, whereby a lot of the old people in the neighborhood sold their houses. The Chinese came in with suitcases full of cash and bought those houses out from those people. You know, those houses were built after World War II. And a lot of them had passed down to the children. And they saw all that cash coming in with those Chinese, and they just sold those houses. And so at this point, hey, San Francisco is almost, they got 3 Chinatowns now in San Francisco. The old traditional Chinatown and the new Chinatown, which they had before I left. And I know that where we were located out near the beach in San Francisco, our business location, they were buying that up so fast when we left San Francisco. And so I haven't been there for a very long time. I haven't been there, but my daughter took her children out a couple of years ago so that they would know San Francisco. Yeah.
I shall say. Look, this is going to be amazing. I'm talking about, you just gave us so much. Look, I went to remembering all the notes about when J.P. Morgan stole from silver and everything else. We can play with this for a while. Goddess April, I want to go into you because you've written a couple books as well. and you said you're a movie producer as well. Tell us a little bit about your books and what are you producing?
So I actually have a film. It's called Spiritual Gifts and explores the lives of people with intuitive and prophetic abilities. And you can find that on my website. That is spiritualgiftsfilm.com, and see a trailer for that is a docuseries. So that's the film part of what I do. I'll be shooting the next part two, episode two, by the end of this year in Augusta. So if you're interested in knowing more about your intuitive and prophetic abilities, which is what we as goddesses are really about, having that intuitive and prophetic abilities, that whole ancient oracle abilities, us being the sibyls that we are, right? That falls right in line with our divine nature. Books. I'm also a poet, so I'm published with two books. I've won a couple of awards on that for spoken word in Los Angeles, a couple of big houses of poetry. But now what I'm doing mostly is the history. Thank you, Mama Kali, for that information that you shared about our history. I've got a little bit more, though, even that I can even add to that, kind of accompany that, going back to the beginning of time, right? The beginning of humanity. And that takes us back to 3.59 million years ago. And you spoke of, right? How our history was stolen from us, and how, we as a people, have been here for a long time. Smithsonian Institute, in particular, has been one of the people involved with that process. That takes me to the mound builders. 3.59 million years ago, we were here in the Americas. That predates any other human being in the world. So our bones and our mitochondrial DNA can be found right here in these mound sites, and prognathic and platyrrhine bones. That is, the jawbone protrudes, and then our the bones in our nose, the nostrils are wide, and this is how the Smithsonian and all the other different archaeologists have signed in their books that we're here, without us knowing that it's actually in all of these archaeological books. So in the timelines that I share in our history books, in my history show that I do on Wednesdays, that's History the Missing Link, aprilgarymedia.com, aprilgarymedia.com. If you go to that page, you can look for that page on History the Missing Link and join that Zoom. And in that, I teach you that we actually have been here for a very long time. Now, this is a little different, so brace yourself. The oldest people in the world have come from here, and the evidence is here already, if you haven't heard that already. How do we know that? I've got the receipts, the evidence, the books, and all the information to show you that our bones was here long before I'm going to say Native Americans, right? That's the red and yellow people who did come from Mongolia and Siberia, right? But they've only been here for 3,000 years or so. Some of them came over, some say on the Bering Strait. Other people say that they came right through Ellis Island, okay? But there's evidence, again, of us being here. Now, where's the second group of oldest people from? When I say the oldest people, because the oldest people are actually from here, okay? I say Black people are the first people from here. Second, I'm going to take you to Greece. So Greece was founded by the great mothers. If we're talking about goddesses, we're going to have to talk about Greece now. If you're talking about goddesses, you're going to have to talk about the goddesses that are from America, okay? This is the Black tribes that are from here, okay? These are the oldest people down in the Mississippi Valley, Alabama, all these family members who own 200, 300 acres of land and have owned them for a very long time before this place was colonized, and before all of our buildings, which are Tartarian buildings that are right in the cities that you probably dwell in. And then just to touch on the other thing that Mama Kali said, which is so important, about, our history and how the so-called Native Americans, right, who have been to a lot of these, let me say, Indian schools and have been colonized in that way, so have our people been colonized through Catholic churches, through Catholic schools. And this has been going on a very long time. So right now we are actually prisoners of war here, right? So the oldest people here first, 3.64 million years ago, 3.3 million years ago, we were in Greece. We founded Greece. And then we went to Africa. Yes, I have information on that if you're interested in knowing, right? So again, I've been teaching this a very long time. And I could show you the receipts and give you the books. I have a library on it. And if you are interested in knowing truth, because truth, right, is what we're really looking for. If you're looking for truth and not just following tradition, right, then we know that Goddess, will guide us in that truth. And we as goddesses need to know that we were the first here. We had our sons. We had our sons right about 80,000 years ago. But 3.59 million years ago until about 80,000 years ago, there was only women. Now, how could that be? Let's talk about let's talk about parthenogenesis, where the egg mated with itself. That's one theory, but there is no evidence of us having sons before that time. So we were here. So if anyone is capable of, right, raising our nation and raising our people, it is us. It is us here. And we have to look right up under your feet, African American women, and see that the bones of your families, the bones of your ancestors are right beneath you first. And then we went to other places, right? So, what evidence do we have? Where is the oldest pyramid? It's in Louisiana, right? We built those pyramids in Louisiana. Then we went to Greece. Then we went to Mexico and did all these other pyramids or mound structures, by which, as of which, right? These mound structures are aligned with the cosmos. So now I'm going to take you to the cosmos because this is what we're aligned with as the great goddesses. If you're talking about the great mothers, you're talking about understanding cosmology, and that predates all religion. That's just an opening. So this is what we talk about on the spiritually gifted community on our call on Zoom, right? If you're more interested in knowing more about that, aprilgarymedia.com, and we teach herstory, the missing link, and that's on Wednesdays if you'd like to know more. And I ask everybody, don't believe anything I'm telling you. Please just get the information and let God guide you so that you can get the information that you need. All right. In all due respect and honor to everyone. Thank you so much.
I say. We had a couple questions. One guy that said, I'm curious to know if Mama Kylie has any friends, family that still reside in California. And if so, do she know if they are on the same path?
My family.
Yes, ma'am.
I do have family in California now. But unfortunately, I'm that one they call the black sheep of the family. I'm the 13th child, seventh daughter. So you know that I was different, always have been. But I want to add something to what Sister just said, and that's about our being the oldest people on the planet. It's true. In fact, I did a series of videos called it's the Cosmic Prophecies, Who's Your Daddy? And it came down to looking at Albert Perry in South Carolina. I'm sure you're aware of Albert Perry, who has that oldest DNA that changed the so-called timeline, of the atom. Okay, they being quote science, had said that Adam came, 250 some thousand years ago. But Albert Perry's DNA, and he's one of our Aboriginals, or he was one of our Aboriginals here in South Carolina. Okay. And so that changed the timeline from 250,000 years ago to 338,000 years ago. But, we're dealing with a science that was created to empower the dark forces to come in because they rewrote everything, absolutely rewrote everything. And the sister who she mentioned, the Tartarian Empire, they destroyed that, created a whole lot of clones called Lulu. And I have all of that evidence in the cosmic prophecies. The cosmic prophecies of San Francisco, one day, bro, I'm going to have to share that with you. It was looked like graffiti on the wall in San Francisco at the Pacific Ocean Beach. The cosmic prophecies of San Francisco. And we went all over. One of the reasons why we were so very well known is because we lectured all over the country. I mean, every major city we lectured at, and showing the evidence of the deep, dark forces that have now been defeated on this land, planet Earth, but we're not seeing it yet because they have to do it in secret. We got our own folks who would just, just poo-poo everything. They would just not accept the evidence. Now, there's another thing. Just recently, they did the DNA on a group of indigenous people, meaning our so-called blacks, Negro, black, colored, African American, in Alabama. And they compared the DNA to, the people, or should I say the corpses that had been pulled out of one of the mounds. And they were exact. In other words, we know without a doubt that our people are the ones who built those mounds here, the so-called mounds. They were pyramids. But of course, when the dark forces took over, they destroyed everything, changed the timeline. All the beautiful buildings that were here. Uh, uh, well, they had their, what did they call them? They called them world fairs, where they supposedly built those Tartarian buildings, and then they destroyed it after the world fairs. You have to also understand that this was a source where the Cabbage Patch Babies came in when they were selling babies at these world fairs. You see, so to tell you the truth, as far as history that we could read in most books, it's just a fabrication. And Smithsonian has been lying about everything from the very beginning. I actually believe, and I think I've got pretty much a good reason to believe, that when the so-called Napoleon went to went to Egypt, he came here because they said that it took 3 months for him to get it. Well, it don't take 3 months to go from the Mediterranean south of France to go to that Egypt over there. So he came over here, and they didn't even own the land that they call the Louisiana Purchase. They never owned it. They had a port at New Orleans, and that's all they had. But of course, because those who have those dark forces that have been in power all these years rewrote everything. told lies. We have been living in a matrix of lies, absolute lies, for at least what, 1,000 years, because this was the rise of the demonic spirits, at the Council of Nicaea that brought in the Catholic Church. And so, of course, many people don't know that there was a representative at that Council of Nicaea. His name was Arius, and he was from Ethiopia, the oldest Christian church on earth. And Arius objected to what Constantine was doing. So what did they do? They killed him. Okay. And so this is what they do now. If you disagree with the small hats right now, today, you might get killed. That is, if they feel that you have enough influence. Okay. Hey, where did everybody disappear? So we're all that. Oh, because I said small hats. Everybody disappeared from the screen. Did y'all see that? Or were they just targeting me?
You know how that goes.
Anyway, yeah, you didn't see that? Disappeared from the screen?
I didn't see that, actually.
Oh, no?
But I wanted to add to what you were saying, Mama Kali. That is such great information that you just added there about, what happened to the mounds, and then also Tartarian. It's so interesting. I just moved here to Augusta, and I'm looking downtown. I'm opening a store here, as a matter of fact, where I'll be doing healing work here, right? And so you can see the chart behind me. I kind of refer back to that, and also how all of these pieces of that chart, each one of the chakra systems actually align to the cosmos and a planet and the Orisha and deities and all of that. But you can look in the chat and see where you can actually sign up for my class to get more information. But the piece about the Tartarian buildings, there's Tartarian buildings right down the street from me, okay? So they were not built by Europeans as part of the reset. But because we have been colonized, and because we have been removed from our original land, and we've all been dispersed, and the Great Mother is no longer, in charge and intact, they've been able to pull the wool over our eyes. Now, let's go back to the beginning, though. We were talking about that, the beginning of time. That's 3.59 million years ago, and the mounds themselves. So the mounds are, right, sacred sites that are aligned with the cosmos. So, so with that, the cosmos is aligned with your chakra systems, and not just 7 of them, 13 of them. 13. And all of those are sacred sites on the ley lines. So we talk about that as well. This is long before, again, we had our suns, right? So our suns, we had about 80,000 years ago. The layout of the world, of the cosmos, was already put in place then, okay? So we're talking about cosmic now, cosmic structure. And with that cosmic structure, and on these ley lines are these sacred sites. And the sacred sites, just like Cahokia, which is right outside St. Louis, just like Louisiana mounds, and the mounds that are all over this world and all over the United States, which is evidence of us being here for so long. All of those are aligned with the cosmos. And this is how we did our architecture. This sacred architecture was aligned with the cosmos. And it is aligned because these are energy systems, right? This whole energy systems, it's a motherboard, really, that it's aligned with. And this is even before Benjamin Banneker put together, the White House and the layout of that. Again, that's another motherboard, an energy system, energy architecture, right? So if you recall, if you're old enough to recall how the blimps used to fly around years ago, and they would connect to some of these, say, Tartarian structures, right? So that they could get ether, the fifth element, right? Which was our free energy source, before we have the energy source that we had now, we had that in our building structures. They're still here. They're not gone. It's just that our history has been taken from us and we've been colonized, right? So I have the evidence, I have the books, I have the information. And yes, Mama Kali's right on time with that information of how we were here. I think the thing is, how do you structure that? How do you put that in a timeline? How can you account for each of these instances? And how do we work with that today when we're talking about dealing with goddesses? If you don't know where you come from, you don't know where you're going. And that's a very important premise, right? That we need to understand. If you don't know where you come from, you don't know where you're going. And we have to know where we've come from in order for us to move forward. And Mama Kali made another good point about us getting along, right? We're so broken as a people. We're so broken as women. We're so broken as men. We're just broken people because no one in the world has been through what we've been through, right? So for us to come together, we first have to heal inside. We have to start from within and start this healing process, because otherwise, all the pain and all the hurt that we have, we project that on other people. Our fears, our anger, our arrogance, our jealousy, our envy, all of that stops us from moving forward. We become crabs in a bucket. So that change starts from inside of you. So you have to be willing to look at yourself honestly and say, hold on a second. Am I looking for truth or am I looking for tradition? What am I looking for, truth or tradition? And I believe if you're really looking for truth, somehow the universe will bring this truth to you, and you'll know because it'll resonate in your heart. And when you do, you'll understand that this history is all about you. Okay, you'll know that people will copy you as an African, I'm gonna say a Black American, because we were the first. So if you go to Africa today, if I go to Asia today, if I go to Haiti today, any place I go today, people will have the TV on, they'll be copying what we do because we are the originator sports. That's us. Again, that's us. They look to us. So our archaeological evidence, again, 3.5 now million years ago, our family's bones were here all over the America. And these mound sites is one of the places, some of the places that has the evidence of us. So we should be going back to these mound sites, right? Pouring libations to our ancestors from here. We should be looking up the goddesses that once walked these lands, right? Before the resets, before the first world, before the second world, before the third world, and now we're in the fourth world. I'm talking about Mu, Atlantis, Lemuria, and now we're in the fourth world. And the goddesses have traveled through all of those. We've come back again right now to straighten this all out. So our spirits have come back now to this land. We come as the Iami, we come as the Aj, right? We come as the great mothers to again reclaim this land and to bring up the great mothers again. The question is, again, are you looking for truth or are you looking for tradition? And if you're looking for truth, knock on that door, because the door will open for you, okay? It doesn't matter what your background is because it's already in your bloodline. The anointed ones are already here. So if you're looking for that truth, please do so, because the great mothers are here to help you. Move out all of your attitudes and your personalities and your tiffs and your falling out with everybody. All that's not important. We need to live right now. We need to survive this. You are a target right now. You need to understand that you are. So you need to take this very seriously, right? And we need to come together. As Mama Kali said, we got to come together. We have to have our history. We have to know as goddesses, we have the power to do so. Ashe.
Ashe. Wow, man, y'all saying so much. I don't know how to catch up. I'm trying to catch these comments. There's a lot of great questions. Goddess, for you, I wanted to ask, somebody asked an amazing question. Let me see if I can find it real quick. They said, do you know about Sibyls?
I am a Sibyl.
Mentioned
Yes.
Sibyl.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. The
I am
Sibyls
a
and the
Sibyl.
oracles.
Yes. So Mama Zogbe wrote the book on the Sibyls. As a matter of fact, I'm right in town with her, and I know her group, which are the women that are Aj, and they are Afa followers. Okay. So Afa is older than Ifa. Afa is about 10,000 years ago. That's the same oracle system that Ifa uses today. But the Ifa system is about 6,000 years ago. And as you know, if you're initiated, I'm an Ianifa. That is, we're following now the patriarchal form of that. So we still have the Orisha, the King, and the Odu. However, there's an older version of that, and that is Afa. So Mama Sogbe wrote in her book about the Sibyls, right? About how the Catholic Church stole that history away from the great mothers. It's a really great book here. Teresa in Washington also wrote another book about the Ajays. The Ajays are the great mothers. They're the like the Iami, right? They're the great bird mothers, and they are the mothers of the night. And they sometimes get a bad name, but they are cosmic mothers. When I say cosmic mothers, that means that they are aligned with the cosmos, and that predates all of the Orisha. You have to remember who the Orisha are and who the Orunmila are. So the Orunmila was the first ones to come down to earth, right? Oshun, Ogun, and some of the other deities, along with that bird of the rooster, to come and now what? Create earth. But we're talking about the fourth world now. There were three worlds before that, Mula, Mira, Atlantis. We're living in the fourth world. So even for Ifa, which is in Nigeria, there's also a mound there. There's a mound there. So when you say there's a mound there, that means the great mothers were there. And what did I mention? They're all aligned with the cosmos. The cosmos, right, is the cosmic structure under which we all live. It's older than the Orisha. It's older than the saints. It's older than all religions, okay? And this is where the Iami and the Aj are from, that cosmic space. So when we work as great mothers, we know that we're working with some of the oldest beings ever, the greatest spiritual beings, and the Sibyls of which we are, right? We have a direct connection. One more quick thing about that. If we're talking about Orisha and we talk about the Odu, right? So the Odu, the Ikin and the Odu, which is the oracle system that you'll find in Ifa, and you'll also find it in Afa. Well, the Odu, Ifa, Orunmila had what? A mother. What is Orunmila's mother's name? Here's an example of how in Ifa, right? And how a lot of information about the great mothers isn't there. Maybe it's missing, maybe it was taken, but at any rate, most people don't know this. But the Ikin and the Orunmila's mother's name was Badu, Mama Badu. She is the tree of life, the queen of heaven. She birthed, right, the Ikin and the Odu. So she had a mother. But just like Olodumare in Ifa, as we know it from Nigeria, Olodumare is considered God. It's male. But we know, as I just mentioned, that women were here millions of years before we had our sons. So that cannot be. So we had to have birthed, right? So Nana Baluku, who is the great mother of all, she is all. She first created, first she is all, and then she created her twins, Mawu and Lisa, Marsatwa, Dosu Dosa, the Abedjis, Cosmos and Damien, Faith, Hope, and Charity. We know it by many different names, and that is a duality in nature. So the duality in nature happened just like a division of cells, mitosis, cell division happened, right? This is a explanation of how the cosmos was created and how it manifests on earth. After that, what was created? Mama Legba, the bearded mama, you know, of Eshu Legba. And that is the witness, right? We have the witness. Now I'm still talking cosmic here. I haven't came to earth yet. This is before the Orisha, right? This is before the Orunmila. All of this stuff is going on in the cosmos. And now everything is being created at this time, okay? So now it's being created. You've got Legba, who is the witness, and now it's time to create earth again, fourth time, right? Now you have Ogun comes down with Oshun, the first Orunmila. So when you're talking about Orisha, you're talking about earthly beings. When you're talking about the cosmos, now you're talking about the Iami and the Aj.
Same.
Okay. So that's the difference here. I'm just breaking down to you how the cosmos works. Now I'm going long before human beings here, okay? I'm going long before time as we know it. And if you want to know that, right? Again, aprilgarymedia.com. Please join our class. Just sign up at the very bottom. I'll send you an invite and I'll share this information with you. I'll give you a timeline, books, and all the information you may need, okay? But the question again is, are you really looking for truth? Or are you looking for a tradition? And right now, it's a dire time. We're in trouble, people. We need help, and we need the great mothers to come together. We need to come together now, right? We need to come together on the same page in love and in unity and in caring for each other. All of us, right? We have to care for each other. We have to care for our sons. We have to put the tiffing and the fighting and all of that stuff and look at the bigger picture, because if not, we already lost. We already lost. We have the ability to do it. So let's do it. Let's do it. Let go of that old stuff and let's hold on to, our goodness and our greatness. Let's understand who we really are. Ashe.
So I say, Mama Callie, before you go, somebody had an amazing question. I can't. I'm trying to keep up with these questions, but somebody had an amazing question for you. They said, what was the incentive for J.P. Morgan to get the Siberians to come over here? Now,
Well,
my
to replace us.
land free. When they say land, that's how they colonized Philippines. They hired those same Mongolians to take over the Philippines. I mean, we got to know history. We got to tap into this history. This is what he got us to give you. But the only thing they had to offer was conquest, land, gold, and things of that nature. If you said land and gold, everybody was coming back. Everybody came over here on the gold rush, and way before they say, you know what I'm saying? So I'm sorry. What were you saying, guys?
I wanted to just comment. Remember that it was the Ethiopian prophet who called us to Ethiopia in 19, and we went in 1996. Stopped by the pyramids, and we found the biblical manna there, and in the desert. But going down to Ethiopia, we saw the prophet, and he said that the reason why we had been called was so that we could come back and let our women in the diaspora know that we are the ones who will change the world. And I see that the sister who's on today is, she's very enlightened, and she's a very good teacher. Okay, so she's one of those who will change the world. Now, actually, I have also edited books, Adventures of Old Batala, Ifeyeme, Elabourbon, he's the chief Oraba of Oshobo, and that was done in 1988, 1990. And he's still printing the book over there in Nigeria. A friend who just got initiated by him over there got one of the books, and he almost fell out when he saw that it had been published by us in the North Scale Institute. And so, we have done, and then there's another book that was published in 1992. It was called Astrological Geomancy in Africa. And that was a publication that was given to me by another Babalawo, who said he had been holding it, but it had never been published. And so I did publish it, and I'm going to bring it out again. It has been copyrighted. People are still asking for that book, because this was a Nigerian who went to Europe to study. And because he had an interest in metaphysics, he actually went to the Astrological Society of London. And when they were talking about the astrology that they thought they knew, he introduced to them how old the Odus were and how they actually did, say the same thing as the astrological chart. And so I did publish that, and I will bring it out again, Astrological Geomancy in Africa. So there are so many things that I cannot say I did want to get to that part that we discussed earlier, bruh, about the medicinal plants.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember?
Yes, yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep up with comments and questions and everything else.
Yeah,
We worked
that's
out.
a very good. That's a very good thing that she just said. I mean, we
It's so
are under attack. We are under attack by so many people who look like us because they have brought so many people in here who look like us, but they're from foreign countries, and they're hating on us. I don't know why, because I do know for actually visiting so many African nations, that I know they copy us. And in fact, my book, Diaspora Road in Ghana, American Indians Searching for Home. That's the name of the book, and it's the Diaspora Road in Ghana. I talk about the uh, Americans who don't know they're Indians, who are living in Ghana right now, and I did live there for 4 years. So I lived in that community, and so I wrote a lot of stories. It was a good time for me because I had to get away from the stress here in America. I just had to leave, and so I was away for many years.
so.
I do
Ashe.
want to get to the herbs that we discussed earlier,
Yes, ma'am.
especially the one that I sent you the video on.
Yes, ma'am. The hill, like I said, you had just sent it to me, and I don't want to paraphrase. I want to do a little bit more research, but can you break it down for us, please?
I think Sister has something to.
Yes,
She
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
raised her hand.
Actually, I thank you, Mama Kali, about bringing up the healing, right? The healing herbs. I would love to hear that part as well, and also just the healing part. I think is so important for us as a people, as goddesses, coming together to heal ourselves. I wanted to caveat on that a minute, and how just even how herbs overall tied to our chakra systems, right? And tied to how we can heal, structured healing, right? According to our physical bodies, and how that aligns with the cosmos, the stars, and all these other healing elements. And the herbs are right on the top of that list. So my ears are open, um, Sister Kali, to hear that.
Thank you.
Mm.
Um, I wanted to comment on something that we wrote about back in 1988, the publication of the book, The Science and Romance of Selected Herbs Used in Medicine and Religious Ceremony. Okay, we talked about the plant called Tabernanthe iboga. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, I'm not sure how long ago it was, um, President Trump of the defunct US corporation called the United States of America, and it is defunct, he wrote an executive order declaring that ibogaine, which is a derivative, a synthetic of Tabernanthe iboga, that will be the health priority for the people in the United States, and he fast tracked it by actually uh, funding that. Now, when we investigated, and well, we knew about Ebola for so long because we were aware with the Mbitwi people in Gabon. And let me say, we looked for that plant in surrounding countries, and we couldn't find it. Even the herbariums had not listed that book. So it is there only in Gabon. So we are aware, and back in the day, I guess it was late 80s and early 90s, We were contacted by a young Jewish boy from, he's a man, from New York who had heard about our works with Iboga, and he had synthesized the plant to what they now call ibogaine. Okay, so it's a synthetic. Well, anyway, we knew him. We knew his wife. They visited us in San Francisco several times. He and his wife, the Jewish guy, was married to one of us, an Aboriginal sister, and they had the patent on it at that time. Now, the guy passed away, and we heard from his wife, who let us know he had passed away, but he had left everything for her, okay, because she was his true partner. And so now, 40 years later, now the pharmaceutical companies have the whole thing. So I guess they took it all from the sister. And that probably took some time, because I know from them and the book he wrote, which I have somewhere, I know that, they took it from her because they now own the patent. These big pharma own the patent on the ibogaine. Now, what does it do? When we first wrote about Tabernacle Iboga, we said it was the plant that heals the spirit. And we need that, because spiritually, we are a very sick people. We're working, but we need to work on ourselves first. We got to do our shadow work. We got to do more than that. But one thing that Iboga does, and this was its interest at first, was that it cures addiction. See, the guy who did the patent from New York, he was a heroin addict, and he took street drugs. And so he got a hold of some ibogaine, and he took it. And the day after that, he went through. I mean, it's a hallucinogen, just like ayahuasca, just like DMT. It's a hallucinogen. And after he went back, okay. He The next day, 2 days later, he had no desire for heroin. Now, a heroin addict, the next day he got to get it, but he had no interest. And so he said, "Oh, well, what happened?" And so he got the street called Ibogaine and gave it to some of his friends, and same thing. Their addictions were gone immediately. Now, what the Mbwiti people in Gabon, it's a woman's circle. But when I looked up something on the internet, they showed all men with Obruni, and Obruni is the name for white men in Ghana, Obruni. The men were surrounding this Obruni, like I guess they gave it to him, but it's a women's healing circle, the in between, and that ceremony. And what they do, after cleansing and washing, they have a mirror which they look into, and their ancestors come and they greet them and answer any question that they need. And this actually releases the trauma of whatever the women have experienced through that direct connection through this hallucinogen called ibogaine. That direct connection is made with the ancestors, and the ancestors appear in the mirror. Okay? So this is what we had been very conscious of and written about, the plant that heals the spirit. And so now American and European pharmaceutical companies have the patent. And from what President so-called Trump, who's a fake, the one that's in the White House is a deep state fake right now, he signed an executive order which allowed further research, and they know they don't need any more research, but also planning to implement clinics throughout the country where people can go and experience this ibogaine and get healed. Now, we should be the first in line for that. But I don't know how, well, I shouldn't say that. We have to move forward on that. We, as a confederation of women, we have to move forward on that to establish some clinics here for our people. Now, basically, everything that the United States corporation does is for them, all the immigrants, the squatters on our land. They're all squatters. We are the original people. We are the only Americans. And so we need to go for that real quick.
Yes, we do.
Because we have to own that. And the fact that I have the history from the time it was first used in America, and knew the people who had the patent, and now here we are.
All right. Hey, Mama Kali, thank you so much for that. That sounds so powerful. That's just any kind of antidote that would help our people through that, because we are such a traumatized people.
Yes.
I'm so grateful for your, sharing that. I'd like to share just a little bit about some other stuff from healing that you're aware of too. If you're looking right behind me, that's the chakra system. And with the chakra system, that's originally ours as well, just the energy centers. And all of those energy systems are aligned with the cosmos, the planets. Now, we talked about being goddesses. Being goddesses mean that we understand the planetary systems, the cosmos, and how it works within our bodies and also within the cosmos. That's what we're learning now. And with chakra stone, with aromatherapy, and all the other correspondences of manifestations in the world that's aligned with those chakra systems. That's just 7, but there's 13 of those, one of which we have particular issues with. And I'll tell you some of the systems of imbalances that we have as a people to heal, but I'm going to tell you this in a structured kind of way so that you can look at it from a functionality perspective, just really quick. So you've got that root chakra is governed by Saturn, right? That's our seal of grounding. And by the way, when I talk about seals, that's the same seals as they talk about in the Bible, the 7 seals. By the way, that is a book of the story of us, but that's another story. And that's the root chakra. There's a color for it. It's red. The element is earth, but there's also a frequency that we can heal from, and that's 396 hertz. So we can do some frequency healing to heal ourselves, right? That's the adrenal glands that we're speaking of. So now there's a gland that we've associated that with. So we have issues with our adrenal glands because we have issues with our root chakra. Now, what are some of the issues that manifest in our personalities and with our bodies? Well, eating disorders is one. Being overweight or underweight, fear, anxiety, depression, There we go. A lot of people talking about being manic depressive, right? Or bipolar, coming from the root chakra here. Okay. Restlessness or even laziness, disorganized, anger, annoyance, aggression, hoarding, greed, materialism. Those are some of the things that society in general is really dealing with, that stuff, and our people are dealing with. How do we heal from that? There are healing modalities for this. I just spoke about frequencies, 396, getting some sound therapy. But there's also other healing modalities. Let's talk about the earth and crystals, for instance. There are crystals that you can use with the right frequency to help heal your issues. What does it heal? Not just your physical body, but now your personality issues. We can attack this or deal with this on different levels. Of course, there's herbs. Mama Kali just talked about one in particular, but there's also other herbs that you could use that could help heal your root chakra. Personality issues are one of the biggest things for us because we have so many problems. We've been traumatized in so many ways, besides PTSD, right? Child abuse, neglect, all those things. But colonization by itself is enough. If I go up this chart, there's your next chakra. That's the sacral chakra. Sacral chakra has its own issues going on with it too. What planet is that? Now we're talking about Jupiter. Jupiter, right? There's a goddess that's tied to Jupiter. So you can call on the deity or you can call on Jupiter itself. I can pour libations to a deity or I can pour libations to Jupiter, okay? The great mothers dealt directly with the cosmos, all right? What are you dealing with now? The color orange. What's the frequency? 417. I want to heal. Let's do some sound frequency for that. Let's heal from that. What about the element water? So water is a good medium to heal. Let's now get into a spa with water and call on the great mothers of water to heal us, right? The glands are the gonads, right? What are the symptoms? Mama just talked about them. Addiction, obsessiveness, attachment, mental rigidity, inflexibility, poor social skills, self-sabotage, dependency, guilt, inhibition, emotional and sexual instability. Right there in that seal of emotion, that's the sacral chakra. Now I've just identified issues here. And this is mostly what's going on with us, these lower chakras. We haven't even got up to the high chakras, the crown and the third eye, because we haven't healed this lower stuff. So how do we do so? Let's work on these. If we can work on these daily, one by one, and all these different healing modalities, including healing, right? Healing through herbs, there's one. Healing through foods. You got an issue with your root chakra, what kind of food should you be eating? Root foods, potatoes, yams, right? Eating now, knowing what you need to heal, right? So you have healing, also healing things you can do, creative activities, self-expression. Sorry, I got another phone going here. And you have swimming, you have taking meditation or baths and showers, expressing your emotions to others. There is a process for healing, and it is an organized process. And I'd love to share this with you. Please get on aprilgarymedia.com and sign up for this if you would, please. I would love to teach you and show you some of these modalities. Mama has it down when it comes to the herbs. She's just told you she's been doing herbs for a long time and they will heal you, okay? And there's other ways for you to heal as well. So if we're talking about going out and healing folks and healing our people or changing anything, it's going to start from right here. It has to. You're going to have to heal from that childhood stuff, let go all them issues, heal from your ancestral stuff from past lives, right? And then you're going to have to, from there, work on yourself, then stretch out to community, right? So we need to understand these ancient modalities that other people are now using that really first belonged to us. And speaking of that, we just talked about the mounds. All of these are aligned with mounds, and mounds are located around the world, and they're all aligned with star systems. We have to think now cosmically. We have to think further back, even than just the angels that we've been told about. We got to go a little bit deeper, great mothers, great Iami, great Aj, great women who are Sibyls, who are on this call. I'm calling you. I'm calling you who have those prophetic abilities for the spiritually gifted community. Come and learn more about who you are so that you can heal our brothers, our sisters, our mothers, our aunties, our uncles, and our babies. I'm calling you to come forth for that. Heal yourself first. How do you do it? I'm bringing you that structure. Come and get this structure. It's here for you. Come and get this structure, aprilgarymedia.com. Okay, that's what I'm on earth for right now, is for that. I too am a Sybil and I'm an oracle. Thank you so much.
I say. Wow. And I love how you keep bringing up the mounds because, I'm in Florida, in Tallahassee, that's Mayan territory. And people don't
Yes.
tap into that. We're here with the Temukawa. They tell you Seminole to cover up the word Temukawa. And that's and they show the real culture of the indigenous people of Florida. We got the largest mound in Florida is right there in Turkey Scratch, right there in our backyard. So, most definitely we talk about activating these mounds all the time, and everything that y'all said is so powerful. Mama Kyle, I gotta ask you a question real quick. Can you spell that herb that you were telling us about? I mean, I know you sent me. I can put the link in for the video, but I like I said, I want to do more research. I knew I was gonna start at the word. Can you spell it for me?
Okay, the botanical name is Tabernanthe iboga. That's Tabernaanthe. Tabernanthe
Hold
iboga.
on.
IBOGA. Did I? What I'll do is I'll text it to you, okay?
Yes,
But
thank you.
the synthetic is called ibogaine, and this is a critical time, and really, we as a people have to step forward to claim what belongs to us. I think that many of our elder women and clan mothers should get together to decide how we're going to come together under one umbrella to demand that this healing modality be put in our communities and under our supervision. I cannot and do not trust any of these fake medical doctors because so many of them are fake now. There was a report that went out that they have brought, what is it, 300,000 Indians in here who don't have any medical degrees, and they're working in our hospitals and clinics. Did y'all hear about that?
Yes, ma'am. Dr. Kia Prue was just talking about it recently. She was just breaking that. She
Yeah.
just did a whole live
And
about that.
so, yeah. And so they're here misdiagnosing you and putting you on cancer treatments and dialysis. Big money makers. So we have to move expeditiously. I think we're going to, it would be advisable for some of us to actually use the ibogaine treatment because iboga, the natural element, I don't know where we're going to get it. I have some connections, but another thing. Now, we have to move expeditiously. Yes, we have to heal from inside. That's what I've been saying forever. No, but how much time do we have before we can come together and demand? Not ask. How can we ask a defunct corporation to do anything for us when they've done everything against us? Okay, even trying everything to get rid of us, and we still here. I mean, trying to replace us with these Siberians, bringing in all these foreigners and everything. We're still here, and they're all copying us. And I wrote about that in my book, American Indians Searching for Home. living in Africa and moving around. I don't care where I went. Honey, the young people were mocking what we were doing in America. And I documented it. So we have to move expeditiously. That's why it is so important for some of the elder mothers, some of the the wise ones to come together to create a confederation of women to go to demand what we need from this. Well, actually, we don't have anybody to go to because the so-called government is defunct. Who do you talk to when there's a defunct government? They pretending, and that's a show. I know you've heard what Trump say many times. It looks like central casting, which it is. Okay, and they got these fake mask skins that they can make you look like anybody. Okay, we don't have time. Yes, we have to do our shadow work, but we need something that is going to push us forward quickly. Because the window, as far as actually creating, or should I say, demanding that what's ours be given to us, or should I say, returned to us. Because they ain't giving us nothing. It all belongs to us anyway.
I see.
So we can't ask them. We have to demand and command respect from the Aboriginal, indigenous, autochthonous people of this land, which they know. They knew it from the beginning. You know? I mean, where was the Library of Alexandria? It was collected by Napoleon's brother. All those books that they were able to find when they came, I'm sure they collected it as they moved across the different cities and along the Mississippi. They collected those. Napoleon's brother had a library that they said that was more extensive than Smithsonian. But what they say, that history that made up history, they tell us. What did they say? They say that the Library of Alexandria burned down. Well, that's what they say about the library that Napoleon's brother had here in America. They said it burned down too. So I'm not sure. So many lies up. Well, how are you going to get the truth out of it? You know what I mean?
Just like you said about the world trade and how they burned everything down from every city they went to, and the Smithsonian. A lot of the statues that this guy was talking about and the maps that they were talking about was in that Smithsonian when they burned down a lot of them Olmec artifacts. The only ones they couldn't destroy was the mother's serpent skirt. It scared them so much they reburied it. So yes, my goddess April, you about to say something?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, let's about that topic, right? So what Mama Kali said, about how the information was stolen. I'll take you back even a little further than that. I'm going to take you back to Ptolemy Philadelphus. This is the ruler of Egypt, 309 to 246 BC. And, of course, the Bible, of course, these Egyptian books of the Dead Sea Scrolls, and all these writings that were at the Temple of Alexandria and the Temple of Luxor, of which Jesus studied and Moses studied, and then all the greats, including the Alexander the so-called Great, right, who came and stole from there as well. Well, Ptolemy Philadelphus was a ruler at that time, and all these books and stuff was already stolen from the great mothers. So that if you look at the history of this, you'll find that all of these books, even the books that you read from the 66 books of the Bible, of course, there was over 200 books, stolen texts, right? Because the founders of Greece at that time, the founders of Greece who built all those great stone monuments and all of those Tartarian buildings aligned with the cosmos were the goddesses. They were the black goddesses. Now we're talking Athena, Inanna, we're talking Ashtar, we're talking many of the great mothers' names and her daughters, which were the Sibyls, wrote this. And so they stole them, spread them all around the world. And then we had Ptolemy, who paid them a lot of money to bring them back, right? Constantine later actually had Ptolemy killed, and he went and took all the books back again. So the religious texts that you read now from all over the world, its foundation came from the great black mothers. I'm talking about our bloodline, our history. And that's the foundation, of this. So yeah, Alexander the Great, we're talking Constantine, all these different European rulers that haven't been on earth that long. Because keep in mind, again, we've been on earth 3.59 million years, starting here in the Americas. Then we had our sons, but Europeans, you will find no bones of them before 8,000 years ago. So we was here long before them. These building structures and the alignment of the cosmos was here long before they were here. So yes.
Goddess, me and you were talking earlier, and like I say, each one of y'all is so powerful. Mama Kali, you really brought it too. And it's funny. I love that y'all say the same thing that I say gracefully. When I say the same thing, people take it wrong, and you be surprised when I'm like, "Yo, we need to do this like yesterday. We need to come together tomorrow. Like we need to start Black economics, this, and that." It be your own people that get mad at you about it and want to attack you about it. They want to believe in this world unity thing, and they want to push this fake narrative and live in a matrix of illusions. And nobody wants. Somebody just spoke on, I think Liberia when they were sending those Black Americans, and they forget the part there where when they sent those Black Americans over there, they got massacred too. Those Africans killed everybody in that place. You know what I'm saying? So, Mama Kali, go ahead, Goddess. How do you feel about that?
There is an infiltration now from the African Union, and I'm not blaming the African people at all. In every country that I visited, I liked the people. The people were good. They were kind. They were honest, except maybe Nigeria. And, I enjoyed knowing them. Okay. But let me tell you, we just have to make it a point to move forward. And I believe that we must actually get a hold of this evil game, and perhaps I can use some channels to get the real thing. And we have to move forward to create these healing chambers for ourselves. I mean, sure, all that you have talked about, my dear sister, I had a chart like that about, let me see, when did I get it? My chakra chart. It was probably around 1970. So I have one that I got from that. Let me see. What was the name of that? The Ramahansa Yogananda. Remember
Yogananda? Yes.
Ramahansa
Yogananda.
His institute. I bought, and actually, I bought the last one that they had. And I was happy I had the money right then to buy, because it was very expensive even then. So, I am an astrologer, a cosmologist. I study the stars. I have been into yoga since 1973. And I do it every day. I had a friend call me, and I said, well, I'm on the floor now. And he said, "What you doing on the floor?" I said, "I'm doing my exercise, my yoga." Yeah, he thought I had fallen because that's what old folks like me do. But I don't fall, you know? I keep my balance. Thank the Great Spirit, the Great Mother, for giving me all of the information and all that backup that I needed all these years. I had a wonderful yoga teacher. His name was Dr. Chaudhary at the American Institute. Oh, see, it's so long ago, it's hard for me to remember a lot of these things. I'm talking about 1970s. And I have been there, done that since then. And of course, one of the things that happened when we were over in East Africa, when we went to um, the temple at Saqqara, Imhotep's pyramid, we found the biblical manna. Now, why did we know that it was the biblical manna? We took it to the University of Cairo, and the herbarium keeper there, he actually said that yes, he identified because to us, it was like the only thing that was sitting there on that dry desert. And so, being plant collectors, we actually collected a part of it, but it was scary because it was covered with these white blobs. And I have pictures of it, I can show everybody. And we didn't know what the white blobs could be. And so we thought that it could be poison, but we took a chance since it was the only thing on that desert. And so when we went to the University of Cairo to the herbarium, and there are pictures of that in the book that was published, that we published, Biblical Manna, the Spiritual Message for the New Millennium, a Nile Valley Plant Survey. So we actually did collect many plants along the Nile Valley. That Nile, of course, we know that the Mississippi is the Nile Valley, the biblical Nile Valley. But on that particular Nile, we collected many plants, and it so happens that we discovered a plant, or we found a plant that they thought was extinct. And that is also in that book entitled Biblical Manna, the spiritual message for the new millennium. And so, I mean, we don't have time to play around. And the elder mothers that I'm familiar with, like Miss Ella Woods, like Chief Betty, she's in South Georgia, and like Mama Helen Terrence Bay, that's holding down that sovereign land
You there, guys?
for the since she's been there for the last 60 years. We need to use that information that these women hold to liberate us. I think we got to get healed a whole lot faster. I've been, doing yoga meditation since the 1970s, which is most of my life. And it does work. It helps. It's imperative that we do the shadow work. It's imperative. But we need to speed things up. We need to speed things up. And so that's why I'm saying that on our agenda, our first agenda, we need to actually make sure that we demand and command some of the resources necessary to build clinics for our people. We are the only ones that can heal. We cannot put them in the hands of the dark forces anymore. We can't do that. Okay. So that's why I'm saying to everyone, please let us support that. Let us learn about Ebola. Let us know about Ibogaine. I think that Broad just said that Richardson just said that he put the link to that video that came out. There's a sister talking about. I think she's on the Diaspora channel, but she has her own channel as well. And you know, she reported on executive order that was put out by Trump to fast track Ibogaine treatment. Okay, we need to be first in line. That's all I'm saying. I don't have nothing else to say. Okay, there's all kinds of things that we could do to actually cleanse ourselves. Of course, absolutely. And I appreciate your knowledge. It's wonderful. It's ideal. But we gotta fast track. We gotta fast. Okay.
If I could caveat a little bit on that, for Mama Kali, thank you so much for that and sharing it. We do have to fast track real quickly on healing our spirits and our minds. Speaking of that, healing of the crown chakra in particular and the third eye, there's healing modalities that we can use. Here's another one I'll share with you, and that is healing, right? The third eye and the crown chakra. So there's, you've heard of colloidal silver. I'm going to share with you colloidal gold. A lot of our issues come with our thinking, our minds, and even when we have drug abuse or different kinds of addiction, it damages our pineal gland. That's our third eye. And so our pineal glands are calcified and it's supposed to vibrate. But a lot of our pineal glands are not vibrating like it should. Therefore, we're not connecting spiritually and we're not healing our minds. And that's very important that we can heal our minds. One of the ways to do so, a couple of ways, as a matter of fact, to stop, first of all, damaging your pineal gland is to quit ingesting aluminum, the fluoride that you put in your toothpaste, cooking in aluminum pots that causes memory loss, forgetfulness, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease. There's a direct relationship between that and the consumption or the using of aluminum. And also the aluminum that you put in your deodorants, as you know, causes cancer. But back to the third eye part, right? So our third eye, our pineal gland, right, should be vibrating. So brain damage and drugs can cause those problems. What do we do to change that? Well, we take colloidal gold. Same thing that the three wise men brought Jesus, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And it wasn't because they needed to just burn incense, it's because the body needed to ingest that in a colloidal form so that it could vibrate like it should, so you can hear the voice of God, so you can regulate your mind. This is one of the natural tools that you can use to help heal. We share this information on the Spiritually Gifted Community Zoom call on Sundays, aprilgarymedia.com, aprilgarymedia.com. Go to our page and just sign in at the very bottom to register. This is some of the natural things that you can do. I know because not everybody may be able to take some of the drugs that may be out there. They may have some issues that they may cannot. So we should have different kind of options that we can use. But we know that and as well as taking some of these natural remedies can help to connect you. It also improves your intuition. It improves your cognition. Okay, so we're talking again about the chakra systems, and when you open that, now you're connecting back again to the spirit world. So just wanted to add and caveat to that with those great information that that Mama just shared, and then I just added another one to your list that you can also try. Okay, so more information, again, you can just check us out, aprilgarymedia.com, to sign up for a class, Herstory, the Missing Link, or Spiritually Gifted Community. I'd be glad to share more info with you. Thank you.
I say. Before I forget, Rod just sent me a message. He was talking about something. I mean, y'all be sending me so much and expect me to lock it all in. But Rod and the OG brother Dustin, they say look up to those black flags in front of the post office. I'm gonna go out and go take some pictures of it tonight. But pay attention to that because a lot of those are supposed to come down. It goes back to what Mama Kali was talking about those POWs. So I'm most definitely go out there and put my eye on it. Also, big shout out to the matriarchs. Like I want you to do that again, Mama Kali, to before we leaving out. Just name all those goddesses that you were naming again, just in case they missed it in the beginning. They should run it back. But if not, name those goddesses again before. And also, I want to give thanks to the goddess that did my genealogy. She don't like to be named, but if you ever need your genealogy done anything else, she gifted me this book right here that also goes into what Mama Kali was talking about when we talking about receipts and everything else. They tell you about people that they stole their patents and all and everything really. Big shout out to that Yamin. Big shout out to the elders of the night. Big shout out to the Council Khalifa. Big shout out to Melanated Immortals and Goddess Mayat. Big shout out to Rod and everything they got going on. Big shout out to Empress Rare. You already said her. Miss Goddess April. Shout out to you and your community. Because I'm trying to make sure I don't forget anybody. But you can name a couple goddesses that we might not know of on the land that's really doing some big things. Can you name a couple, including yourself?
Yes. Sister Erica, yes. Erica Hare is one of our people. Jeffelyn Giles, she should be on the call as well. Sister Mutimwia, who's on this call right now, her. Sister Fredriana, we have Sister Adriana. We have a whole a group of women goddesses who are also civils, who are also prophetic. That's on the spiritually gifted call. So we're there to do the spirit work as well. So we can work on a physical way, but we can also work in a spirit way, connected with the cosmos and doing that work. Okay, connecting with the new moon, full moon, and all those cosmic constellations and beings that are there for us. So we do the work on that side, and then you do the work on this side. Everything first manifests itself from the spirit plane before it becomes down to this plane. So honoring to all the sisters of the spiritually gifted community, the Ifa community, the Vodou community, Juma Longe out of Port-au-Prince, Haiti. I want to honor you as well. Ashe.
Sure. Goddess Kali, Mama Kali, can you again tell us a couple goddesses that we might not be too familiar with that's really out here doing, like you said, one thing about it, when you said you had all this land and people keep talking about land, but you've been given an invitation to come out there and work on your land and build on your land for a while now. So like I say, when I'm introducing people, I'm trying to speedball as we supposed to be on this. This is who you go talk to if you want to try to, you need goats. How much is a goat? We can donate for, you know what I'm saying, buy you some goats, buy you some chickens.
Someone advised me against getting goats. Yeah. I mean, if I had a great big pasture, great. Okay. But I only have 7 acres here. And that's not enough for goats. You see? And goats are hard to handle. All right. Now, I am starting in next month in July, I'll have some young children who are in, homeschooling. And their teacher is bringing them out for 4 weeks every Sunday afternoon. They're going to be here, and they'll be learning plant identification. You see, I'm on a land that has not been touched. It's got the species that are indigenous, this part of Georgia. I've got those species here, and we've never poisoned the land here. So it's intact. And so I'm going to be direct them, directing them how to collect and preserve and learn how to identify plants. Okay. Now, I know that some of those children are going to fall in love with botany, you see, because they will then be able to actually look at a tree and know what it is. I can't overpower them at first, but after they get it down how to learn how to collect, preserve, and identify plants, then I'm going to actually help them to know what those plants do. Those that are around them right here, okay? Because you got to know your environment because you can live off of it if you have to, and that day may be coming soon. And so that's what is on the schedule for me. There are things that people can contact me. I gave you my phone number and everything. I don't know, perhaps you put it in the description. My business phone number, website, herbaful.com. And, ways for people to get in touch. And so I would like very much to include others in this. Now, the people that I wanted to shout out to, uh, the elders that are not known right now, but I know them and I respect them and I respect their knowledge and I respect their wisdom. One of them is my friend right here outside of Atlanta, Miss Ella Woods, and she started her metaphysical studies in California, where I first met her. And she was coming to our our lectures in California, and then come to find out she's right down the street from me, not far, maybe a couple of miles from where I live now. And then I want to shout out and give respect to Chief Betty Smith. She's from the Kituwa Nation. That's a spiritual nation of the Cherokees, and she's on ancestral land down in South Georgia right now. Uh, I She has such a great knowledge of our indigenous tribes here. And she has been studying for years and years. And she also has a psychology degree. To know, I never mentioned any degrees I have. I have them, but no sense in me talking about them. I just want to let y'all know this is all real. And then I want to shout out to Mama Helen Torrance Bay, who is holding down that sovereign land out there in Kansas, and she's out there by herself now. I think she said there's one more family on that land. But how many Moors have actually, how many know about it? Who's out there helping her? They have great snowstorms out there in the winter. In fact, I got very afraid one time when there was such a big storm out there, and I had to come keep on checking on her. So we have elders who are wise in their years and in their knowledge, and we need to go there. We need to listen to them. We need to sit at their feet. I'm sitting at their feet, okay? Because I know they know something that I don't know. And those who actually realize that they don't know what they think they know, and whatever they know They just start to know, right? I'm infant. Yeah, I faded out again.
Yes,
Somebody
ma'am.
on the screen. Yeah, I got a lot behind me, but we've got to consult some of these really wise women. We have to consult them. We have to respect them. We have to make sure that they don't leave this planet without actually leaving their wisdom.
Sure, sure.
Ashe.
Yes, ma'am.
I would hope that people will see my book, Global Transformations, The Rise of Feminine Power and the Ascension of the Ethiopian King. And that is not Rasta. The Ethiopian King is a constellation on the ecliptic, okay? And that story is there. And then American Indians searching for home, Diaspora Road in Ghana, talking about the community in Ghana at Elmina, which is where the castles are, so-called castles. They call them dungeons too. And that's where I lived for 4 years. And I wrote about what the people do. Hey, we had some good times there, but that ain't home. That is not home. And I came back because I got to fight the battle here. I can't fight nobody else's battle. They got to go home and fight their own battle, you know? So I want you all to know that there are solutions, there are structures, and we need structure now. And we need healing worse than anything else, or should I say more than anything else, because we are an injured people. Ancient injuries. Nobody has in the world has endured what we have endured as a people.
Ashe.
Sure, sure.
And we have to
Ashe.
recognize that. I yield.
Big Mama say hit that light.
Beautiful.
Big Mama say hit that light, y'all.
Ah,
They brought that dragon energy, their great grand
I don't have
respect to
that
the
kind of
mountain.
snakes on my land.
Wow.
I
Oh,
don't
that's
have
the
that
power
kind of
right
snake.
there.
I
So
know
the
I
power
got
of the
snakes,
python.
but I ain't got that kind of
Power of the
snake.
Python. Dambalawe do, Aidawe do, Da and Simbi.
I like
And
you.
Sinone.
We gonna have fun. We gonna listen.
Yes.
Tonight was just an introduction. We most definitely gonna have y'all on more and more. Also, big shout out to Young Elder. He's helping me with this. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to Chief Rod Hayes, Chief Pontiac. They're doing something right now, breaking down something that Trump. I don't too much be into it because I get my information from the clan mothers. You know what I'm saying? I don't watch the news and everything else. When the clan mothers or the OGs or the OG chiefs hit me up and be like, "Yo, this was going down. This was going down," and that's how I'm tapped in. Outside of that, I just work on commodities and things of that nature. I love how you brought up about colloidal silver and gold and things of that nature. And I'm always pushing for us to get into silver and gold. You know what I'm saying? If not gold, right now silver's on sale. I just bought me a couple of ounces of silver today. And big shout out to also Dr. Kia. She was going to be on tonight, but she's still moving around. She just, you know what I'm saying? She said she will be on next time. But yeah, this was a beautiful live. You know what I'm saying? We didn't miss a beat. Y'all were amazing as always, Mama Callie. And thank you for the knowledge you gave us. You gave us our receipts. Don't let this go over your head, man. Rewind. Sometimes they give you the cheat code by her speaking it. Now we got to go do the research on it and utilize this information. There's no sense in having this information if you're not going to utilize it. Again, big shout out to OJ Yemi, the elders of the night. Let me see. I'm trying to get you. It was a lot of great questions. My apologies if I didn't get to everybody. With love, Colonel. call between them. Most definitely. Big shout out to Melanated Immortals again. She's doing an event right now for the solstice, but she's out there acquiring land up there by where you at. So that'll be a great connection between Mama Kylie and Melanated Immortals. All of y'all, like you said, all of you really.
And I'm near you, Mama Kali.
I
I'm
say,
in Augusta. I'm not
Yes,
far from you.
yes,
look, we
I'm
from the
very
south.
happy.
Look, we from the south.
Yes.
South got something to say.
Where-
Y'all
you
in
say,
Georgia, I'm in Florida now.
Augusta
Mhm.
or Albany? Was it Augusta?
Augusta, yes.
Oh, okay. So you're down there by the mounds.
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
Y'all come to, if y'all come to Tallahassee, I'll take you up the largest mountain in Tallahassee, and they'll tell you
Okay.
it's just it's just as old as the ones in Mexico. So
Yes.
they're running it simultaneously as the ones in Mexico.
Yes, let's go pour
Did you ever
libations to the
know
great mothers.
the beach woman at American Beach? I don't know if even American Beach is still there. In the beach lady. American Beach, it was a so-called black-owned beach.
If the only thing I know, I went to a Bambay one time in Miami. You know what?
What's
I
that?
went to a Bambay a couple years ago in Miami, and I think that's where you're talking about. It's off like a little coast in Miami, and they were talking about that's not the one.
No, it's Amelia Island, and it's right there at Jacksonville, but it's the island off the coast.
Okay.
Yes,
Look.
we did a lot of we did the different ceremonies down there on that island. I'm not sure. I know that she was battling to try to keep that island, but these dark forces, they just take. And we got to stop that. I'm tired of it. And I want to see something change before I leave here.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
that's what I'm dedicated to. Okay?
I'm
And
serious.
we don't have a whole lot of time.
They be wasting time talking and playing and trying to be friendly and wasting time just talking.
I hope we're going to move.
We moving right now, guys. I said you on the right channel. I'm thank you because, like I said, I talked to a lot of different people, and you had a different fire about you. You talking about the time is now. We don't have time to waste. So I'm glad that you gave everybody their orders of instruction. You know what I'm saying, and people to take out their orders. OG Rod just informed me that him and your Empress Redbird are trying to figure out for when they gonna come on the show, either this Monday or the next Monday. We're gonna do a show with them. And I like that we're all, you know what I'm saying, we're on code, we're all coming together, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna take the land's gonna be all one way or the other. We just gotta be ready for it. You know what I'm saying?
I did acknowledge her at the beginning.
Yes, ma'am.
Shout out to Empress Redbird. She's doing some great work as well.
I'm sure.
And oh, by the way, did you know that the name Verdiasi, that was a Naga? The name of a Naga. The wisdom people? Verdiasi was a Naga for the Americas.
Look, you just taught me something because one of my girls, she's in Shed right now, but her name is Onaga. So I'm gonna look that up.
Verdiasi.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna call you later on and get more information on that. They said, what are your thoughts on the Caribbean region and its indigenous people?
Are you asking me?
Yes, ma'am. My apologies. Yes, ma'am. They said, what are your thoughts?
Well, Noble Drew Ali said that all the adjoining islands, North and South America, and all the adjoining islands, including Greenland, belong to the indigenous people. And he said, we're all Moors. Well, Moors, that is Moors, Moors, whatever you want to call it. But that is what Empress Verdiasi also acknowledged. Noble Drew Ali said it too. Hey, there you go. We are the people. And what we have to acknowledge, and a lot of people don't, sure, there were dirty Moors. I know some, okay? I know some. But the Moors were the merchants. They sailed around the world taking goods here, there. That's how corn got spread all over the world, and potatoes. Those are crops. These are American crops. And there's so many more. Okay? Rice came from Africa. In my class in college, I did nutrition and biochemistry. And I had what they call a cultural foods class. And so we had to do a study on different grains, and I chose rice. Well, everybody think rice came from China. No, it didn't. It came from West Africa, and they still have the best rice. That red rice coming out of West Africa is some of the best rice you've ever eaten in your life. And there are so many varieties that are still there in West Africa. Okay? But corn spread all over the world by the Moors, by you could call them Olmecs. There's so many names and so many misdirections about what and when and where and who did what and who ain't this and who ain't that, and y'all good and y'all bad. I mean, we gotta get out of that. It ain't gonna get us nowhere. We got to move. We got to move on the healing of our people. And we don't have a lot of time to waste.
I see.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Got us, April. Yes, ma'am. You have anything before we get out of here?
Yes. Speaking of healing real quickly, thank you, Mama, for that. Those words of wisdom, Mama Kali. We do have to move and move quickly. Someone had asked, do the spiritually gifted community work with men as well? Yes, we do. AprilGaryMedia.com. Go to our page and just go to the bottom. Put your name in there. That'll send an email directly to me, and I will add you to our show. And yes, the healing part, right? So there's many ways to heal. I just spoke to you about some structured ways of healing, and I'll walk you through those processes of doing so. I also have what we call a blueprint. It's your soul blueprint. If you're looking for your destiny, trying to figure out why you're on the planet at this time, both astrologically and also on a spiritual level, right? I offer that, the soul blueprint. If you're interested in knowing more about the soul blueprint, which will be your destiny that aligns itself with your Ifa reading, if you have that, please contact me. Again, I'm an oracle, and I'm also a Sybil. And so we got to come together with our spiritual powers. And as Mama Kali said, we got to work together. We got to put all that petty stuff aside, put that away from us, and start thinking about this unity and start healing together with all the herbs and resources that we have. And I'm just so grateful for this opportunity to be on the show with Mama Kali today with her wisdom and all. And you too, Baba Orisha Stone. I'm just so grateful for the chance to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Man, y'all were amazing. Like I said, we most definitely gonna do this again. And I love what they say about the Caribbean, because that represents the Barbados king. And it says, I serve and I am of service. We have to be of service to the people and bring services to the people. So with that, we'll get out of here. Again, appreciation to the goddesses, and we'll have you back soon. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you, my brother.
Listen, take out the sound fading, but here we break it down. Echoes at the past, it's a wisdom that they drown. They able let the shadows shine through the dark. Voices of the council, let it give you like a spark. Ooh, the triple loud, they tryna turn it down. Step into the light, watch the history rebound. They do feel far, at least they grow. With 4 miles of my life to get them last route.
From the first spark, I be up before time. Everybody's like hell, rearrange their mind. Every line that I spit, rewrite they design. Every truth that I drop, make a hit and rewind. They moving silent, but I see through the veil. People change one name, but it's really itself. Try to dream that they came while they print up the bell. Like I'm lost in the maze, it's a prophet to tell. attention. Ancestors whisper got gold in my vision.
If once you sleep to the dream being real, set an hope in the box with a signed up deal. But the land ain't theirs and the gold ain't real. The throne of the queen got a their own place still. Ooh, they true too loud, they tryna turn us down. Moving the light when we came from underground. They scared of the past, cause the future profound. What's lost been found, now the council's all around. When the council speak, listen when the echoes meet. Every verse, every beat, it's the key, it's the seed. What's found, get free. What's blind, don't see. What's hushed, don't scream. What's locked, got the key. They build pyramids, it's a copy of God. To the blueprint that he had to report. Target ain't I, but the sword's been sworn. Ain't no tag, take the touch, that's the master we are. And we know I don't rap, I just chant on the weave. Have my own yo. Turn vibrations to waves that be shifted degrees. So long, yo, yeah. And when you walk out, I'm bring you with her. And when you walk out, I'm bring you turn it down, moving the light, so we came from underground. They're scared of the past, but the future first down. What's lost and found, now the council's around. Who the council speak? Every verse, every beat, it's a key, it's a seed.